MID can provide you with an easy-to-build diamond feed consisting of about 9,000 certified stones. The feed is supplied by creating a link that can be called anytime, and the data is downloaded to your machine. The feed is fully customizable to your specification. This will be a tutorial on how to create a feed for your website or application. Let's get started. First, you start by logging into https://search.middiamonds.com and pressing the icon marked API on the left. Looks like a small puzzle piece. Don't forget to make sure you're registered and logged in. Now you see a list of all your current APIs. This is if you need more than one API, for example, fancy color and white. Some systems need these split into two different sections. Press the New API button on the top right. Name your API for future references. Now choose an output format. We currently support JSON, XML, and CSV. You can choose the format for the wrap list discounts. It can be displayed as a negative number or a fraction. This is only relevant if you will be needing wrap discounts. If not, then just disregard this. Moving on, slide down to see your basic diamond search. You can filter down anything that is unwanted. I personally suggest to keep this as open as possible. The more, the merrier. Notice that the fancy color and the white are both activated by default. I will get into that a little bit later. The advanced filters have more granularity. Mostly important in this filter is the treated stones section. HPHT color enhanced and fracture filled. Make sure you check off not treated if you only want the untreated stones. Location is where the stone is physically located. Shipping is usually overnight or up to 3 days. The closer you are, the faster. Take into consideration that you will only pay for the local shipping. So if you don't mind the 3 or 4 days, keep this open. Availability. Guaranteed available will guarantee that the stones are in-house and ready to be shipped. Available means you should drop us an email or call before running that credit card. Matching stones. These are all included by default. In the next section, I will show you how to add the matching stock number. Media and links. This will filter out all the stones with no images. I strongly suggest keeping all of these open. The only reason you would want to touch this is if you must have an image to showcase a stone. Last on this page is the pricing filter. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can filter out stones by total price, price per carat, or wrap discounts. Now click on Next. And we are on the Build a Feed page. On the left, you've got all your available fields, and on your right, you've got your customization column. It's an easy select and drag and drop procedure. You click your needed fields and easily sort them by dragging them up and down. Let's start building a feed. Let's take stock name, shape, weight, color and clarity, and give them a quick sort. And now let's customize the headers. Simply rename the headers to your liking. For instance, shape will now be shape in capital letters, and weight can be CT. Color can be stone color. and stock name can be revised to vendor stock number. Basic diamond info is the basic description of the stone. In this section, there is only one item that might be in question, and that is color. There are two color fields. One is color and one is color full name. Color full name will give you D through Z values, and anything that is fancy color will also be included. For example, fancy intense greenish blue. Color will give you only the D through Z values, and anything fancy color will result in a null or empty value. This is used if you need to split the fancy colors into separate columns, displayed in the next section. The fancy color section is used if your application requires the fancy colors split into separate columns. The fancy color is broken down into intensity, overtone, fancy color, and fancy color full name. Note that D through Z colors will not show up in this specific field. If you have a specific search for fancy colors, you can search by intensity, overtone, or fancy color, and the result given would be the fancy color full name. Location and availability. This consists of the location and availability of the stone. Basic and advanced cert info is everything the lab supplies about the stone. In this section, I believe less is better. Too much information can confuse the end consumer. Then again, some clients are prosumers. Images and V360 video links. This is one of the most important sections needed. Our media is hosted on Amazon S3 servers that are completely anonymous. We invest in the best CDNs so you will always get fast delivery. The V360 reality view is a laying down more sexy view and used more for B2C. The V360 mugshot gives you a front view of the stone and is very descriptive, more B2B. What you see is what you get. There is an Include Sample Images checkbox right over here. This will add sample images to all stones that do not have real footage. The media is always marked Sample Image in red. It is a perfect solution if you need a placeholder in your application. It's not always nice to have a big empty box with no image. Our samples represent the stone accordingly. An eye color SI1 in clarity will always have a real ISI1 in the sample image. The images will never misrepresent the real stone. MP4 file. This is the URL directly to the MP4 file. It is much slower, but if you must, it's here. Take in consideration, these files are about 30 megs. The rest are JPEGs and PDFs of the stones and certificates, plots, and diagrams. These come directly from the lab. Last is DDP. This is a generic diamond details page, or a product page that we supply with all the information about the stones and media. I suggest you add all of them and see for yourself what you want to keep and what you don't need. Keep in mind you can always edit this feed and remove what is not needed. Prices. In the prices section, we supply 4 different fields. For all you B2C websites, I guess just the total price matters. You will be marking up on your own, so the total price is the only thing you really need. Price per carat, full wrap, and discount from wrap are also available. Matching pairs info. These fields will give you the matching pair parcel name if it exists and a yes/no flag if the pair is separable. Note that non-separable pairs cannot be sold separately. Last is special fields. General can be used with any value that needs repetition or as a placeholder. For instance, if you wanted a field to be called vendor name, and in each row you wanted MID, you would add general and then customize the title to vendor name, and in the value put MID. Now every row will have a column that is called vendor name, and in the field it will say MID. Now click on Save and a unique link will pop up. Copy that link and save it. Every time you click that link, you will get the current inventory that you customized. Also, take into consideration that if you edit your API, you do not need to update the link. The link stays the same for your named API. If you chose CSV Export, to view the file, you must rename the extension to .csv. This concludes this tutorial, and don't forget, you can always email us if you have any questions.